Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Flip Five Show. It's your host with the most, King Truth, Hosenberg, Benny Bo, the one with the word, the one with the flow. And we're coming at you live, man, at 8:47. And we got some content for you real quick, man. It's gonna be a quick video, probably like no more than 20 minutes. It's gonna be TikTok killer eats battery in Florida prison. If you don't know or are not familiar with Wade Wilson, he was convicted of a couple murders. I think it was maybe 2 years back. They just let him out from death row. He was released from death row. But this video right here is going to be breaking down how he ate a battery in prison. Former inmate explains the situation. If you haven't yet, man, go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, share, hit that notification bell so I know y'all there, so I can throw it to you with us in the air, man. We're gonna keep on coming with the content. The only reason why I haven't been on here as much is because I do have a limited streaming time left on my StreamYard. I can't go past a certain amount of hours, so I can only go on here once or twice a day. It can't be for too long up until I get my subscription right, man. So right now you're gonna be seeing me a little bit, but we're gonna keep them coming, man. So boom, like I said, if you haven't yet, go ahead, like, comment, share, subscribe, hit that notification bell so I know y'all there. Join the Flip Thoughts Nation, the Flip Thoughts family. Let's get into the content.
Welcome back to another episode of Raw Talk, where we get 0 F's over here. I know y'all need to do me a solid, smash that like on your way in, 100% free. For those that don't know about me, my name's Pino from South Florida. Over 10 years in Florida Department of Corrections, along with juvenile facilities, but we don't count that time. Today we're here to talk about Wade Wilson, no other than Wadicus. So for those that don't know about the piece of human garbage named Wade Wilson broke headlines a while back for brutally unaliving 2 innocent women. First and foremost, I want to give my condolences to the victims' families, and just know that over time, karma will catch up with Mr. Wade. Now, a lot of people are wondering what's going on. In the middle of the night, Wade Wilson got transferred to Suwannee Correctional Institution. For those that don't know, Suwannee Correctional Institution is probably one of the biggest institutions in the state of Florida, along with Santa Rosa. These institutions, not only do they house close management inmates, they also house TCU inmates, basically inmates going through a care unit, inmates that are suffering from severe mental health disorder. Now, when I say severe mental health disorder,
Watch the latest shows all in one place and get up to 6 accounts per household.
I mean severe mental health disorders. The only possible way you can wind up in a TCU unit is you have to do something extreme or severe. Now, true enough, every prison in the state of Florida is equipped to deal with mental health needs. For instance, it is a normality in prison to see somebody say they do not want to be here anymore. They want to unalive themselves, or they want to unalive other people. That is a normality. What happens in that prison is they go ahead and get you a green turtle suit, which is basically a suit that you put on that you can't rip. They give you a green turtle blanket. That's what you're going to sleep with. You don't get sheets. You don't get any of that. And you'll be on a 72-hour watch. Now, most prisons in the state of Florida are equipped to deal with this. However, what most prisons in the state of Florida are not equipped to deal with is if you swallow 4 batteries, for instance, or you hit your wrist in front of the officer and fall out, or you could be in your cell one day and the officer walks by and you've been hanging there for 5 minutes, turning blue in the face. These are instances that the prison is not equipped to deal with. The throwing of feces. Maybe I've also seen this. I've seen people take their feces out of the toilet and paint their cell walls with their feces. It's completely disgusting. I know it's unbearable, but this is a gateway for some inmates to get off of the compound.
Oh, okay. So it's almost like it's their way of playing like the psych card, calling the psych card, pleading insanity, like calling the mental card to get sent over to another unit type shit. Okay.
They're at and get sent to a TCU unit, such as the one that Swanee has and such as the one that Santa Rosa Correctional Institution has. So now a lot of people are probably like, Pino, how do you know so much about the TCU unit, and how do you know so much about these psych evaluations and the prison protocols when it comes to the psychological evaluation of inmates? Well, it's easy. If you look up my DR history, if you look up the history in general, I worked in a TCU unit. When I was at Santa Rosa Correctional Institution, I was an orderly for the TCU unit. Now, these TCU units, they operate different. A lot of people might think, oh, it's, you know, it's a big daycare for the mental. No, it's really not. Now, when you first walk into a TCU unit, the only people that are allowed in this unit are the orderlies and the officers. Now, every now and then, there may be some inmates that be called up to the TCU unit because they're blood pathogen and they've already took the test to be blood pathogen. So they can go there and they can clean up blood and feces. But 9 times out of 10, both orderlies inside the TCU unit have already been blood pathogen passed and are fully capable of cleaning up blood and feces, which I have done on more than one occasion. True story. The Florida Department of Corrections, they actually induce free labor, which, you know, in other words, slavery. So you get assigned a job and you have to go to work. I actually caught a disciplinary report in the TCU unit as an orderly. People might think, Pino, what'd you do? Well, they have an inmate phone for the TCU inmates, specifically designated for them. I had to work 8 hours a day. I wasn't getting paid to go there and clean up blood, piss, and feces and all that. I wasn't getting paid for that. It was for free. It was either do that or go to confinement, right? And there were times where I wanted to call my family. So one of those times I used the inmate phone inside TCU unit, and they ended up, all these calls are recorded. They ended up listening to the recorded call and they tracked it back to the TCU unit, seeing that I wasn't in my regular unit using the phone, and gave me unauthorized use of a phone at Santa Rosa Correctional Institution. That's actually how I lost my job in the TCU unit. Now, when it comes to going to these psych units, like I said before, you have to do something extreme. We don't know what Wade Wilson did. He could have swallowed 3 batteries. It's something as simple as that. He could have swallowed 3 batteries. Maybe took his razor during shaving time, popped it out, swallowed it. Something very simple. Now, what will happen with Wade Wilson in this unit? It's easy. It's very easy. He will be confined behind a door his whole time in this unit. Yes, he will be seeing nurses daily. He will be seeing nurses, psychologists, and therapists daily until they clear him to go back to population. But will he be around other inmates? It's unlikely. The other inmates that he will be around will be behind a door just like him. Now, there are certain times when you work yourself up. Like I said, these things go off of a tier 1, tier 2, tier 3. Now, essentially what these tiers are they're basically like a close management tier. You basically go in there at the top tier and you work yourself down to the bottom tier, basically saying that you're safer, you're on your medication, you've been seeing psychologists, they deem you safe enough to go back to the compound. Now, when you do get down to a lower tier, you are able to be handcuffed and shackled and put into a multi-purpose room with a couple other inmates that are on the same tier as you. How likely is it that Wade will land himself around a couple other inmates for the probability of him to get hurt? It's highly unlikely because Wade is a death row inmate. And with death row inmates, they're keep separate. They have what they call on their face card KSP, meaning keep separate from the compound. They are not allowed around regular population. They are only allowed around death row inmates. Now,
don't upload your videos to YouTube. Upload to Restream, where we will live stream it to YouTube and all your platforms at once. Get ready for 5 times more engagement and views. Oh, the algorithms love streams and engagement, rewarding you with even more views, while you
there's more of a likelihood of Wade taking himself out. And I'm just being honest. There is a higher likelihood of Wade taking himself out than somebody else taking him out. Now, is there a chance that somebody else could take him out? Absolutely. It could be anything. Anybody could take anybody out at any time. The orderly could poison his food. You never know. But as we know, Wade is not all there in the head. He's scum. He's the bottom of the earth. He's a piece of garbage. But he's not all there in the head. We know that. And he tends to make irrational decisions. And we can only hope that one of these irrational decisions is him swallowing 6 or 7 batteries and, you know, not making it out of that. But, you know, that would be too easy for karma. Now, how long will Wade do in this TCU unit? Chances are he'll do up to 90 days in this unit and be released back to Union CI on his death row population unit. Now, as far as I know, death row, they're housed away from everybody else. I don't think anything's going to change when he's at Swanee. Nothing's going to change. I believe he's going to be housed away from everybody else. And not only that, like I said, I worked in a TCU unit. All of these people are behind the door. As a matter of fact, when you walk by each door has a face sheet on it with the person's name, date of birth, picture, and their time. And I clearly remember walking around these TCU units when I was an orderly. And actually, that's how I got my name, Pino. I'll tell you that in a minute, too. But I clearly remember walking around these fucking TCU units and looking at these face sheets. And majority of these face sheets said, release date 2057, release date 99999, release date 99999, sentence to life, sentence to 52 years, sentence to 62 years, sentence to 2 life sentences. It's astronomical the amount of time that these people have. And 90% of that unit is like that. Everybody in there has an astronomical amount of time. They just went psych somewhere along the way during their bid and landed themselves back there. I actually got the name Pino because I worked with a dude named Obama. He looked just like Obama, spitting image of Obama. That's how he got the nickname Obama. And in the TCU unit, you have people behind the door and they always want you to pass something. They always want the orderlies to pass something. Hey, pass this note to cell 4. Pass this peanut butter squeeze to cell 6. And true enough, these people are supposed to be crazy. Not all of them. Hey, pass this to this cell. Pass this to that cell. Hey, can you pass this to that cell? These stamps over there. And I honestly got tired of hearing my name. Hey, smart. Hey, smart. Hey, smart. And Obama's like, yo, why do you have everybody call you by your government? And I was like, shit, I've been getting called smart since I was a shorty. He was like, nah, because these boys back here will drop a kite on you if you don't do what they want. And I was like, what you mean? He's like, bro, the first time you tell somebody no, you're not going to pass those stamps from cell 6 to cell 9. They're going to fly a kite on you and say you were bringing in dope or you were bringing in something to these boys behind the door, and you're going to get fired from your job. Not only are you going to get fired from your job, but you'll probably go to confinement. He's like, bro, where are you from? I'm like, bro, I'm from Pompano. He's like, that's easy. We're going to call you Pino from now on. And I swear to you, the name just stuck all throughout the Department of Corrections. Pino, Pino, Pino. So for those wondering what's going on with Mr. Wadekiss, Wade Wilson, the scum of the earth, well, he did something extreme to land himself in a psychological unit that gives 24-hour care. On-call nurses, on-call psychological staff, you know, they're equipped to deal with any type of psychological breakdown. Will Wade Wilson be around people in population? Is highly unlikely.
So basically, like I said, yeah, he done pleaded the insanity court, pleaded the insanity court. And went just did some JCAT shit. Or got sent to a health unit, basically, mental health unit, 24-hour care.
Will he get attacked while he's there? That's also highly unlikely. I'm not saying it can't happen, I'm just saying it's highly unlikely. Now, will he take himself out while he's there? There's a big possibility of that. How long will he be there? I give it about 90 days and he'll be back at Union CI. But will he be around anybody? No, he will be confined his whole time there. The only time he will be coming out is to see a nurse, a psychologist, and a therapist. And these, essentially, it's like a vacation for him. For those that are wondering why he did it, it's basically like a vacation for him. He's not locked 24/7 behind a door at Union CI on death row, not seeing anybody but the officers in his chow tray. Now he's seeing a nurse one time a day. He's seeing a psychologist one time a day. He's seeing a therapist. He's coming out of that cell 3 times a day to see people. You know what I mean? He's getting evaluated. They are trying to figure out what's going on with this man, that they can put him on some type of medication and integrate him back into the prison population. Will it last forever? No. He will be moved back shortly. That was another episode of Raw Talk. Y'all smash that like on your way out. And quickly, don't forget to join the membership. Bro, we have all types of content on the membership. If you missed those prison shorts, we have some prison shorts on the membership. If you missed those old Pinot interviews, we have Pinot interviews on the membership. We have tons of new content going there every day. Not only that, but you get a hold of all the content first on membership. It goes to membership first before it's public. So you will see the membership and you will see the content before anybody else. Love y'all.
Podcast editing is so frustrating. That's why Riverside makes editing super simple and fast. Check it out. Your podcast transcript is here, and you just have to edit the text, and that will edit the podcast. Super simple. You'll never edit your podcast the old way again. No podcast.
City of Fort Myers.
Just over 15 years.
Back in October.
Wade Wilson is no longer on death row or any form of isolation or solitary confinement whatsoever, for that matter. Despite being given the death penalty, which pretty much requires the inmate to be housed on death row all by themselves. In fact, info from Florida Department of Corrections' own website and database shows he has it better than ever these days. But one thing about where he's at now, it leaves a major opportunity open for karma to come his way at the hands of a dangerous inmate. I'll explain everything. Let's get started. Is, according to other inmates I've spoken to who have recently done time in Florida state prisons, and these are the two channels here, Pinot and YouTube Streets, have both done time in Florida prisons, and I got information from them that tells me, by all means, Sewanee Correctional Institution is way better. I mean, that is such a much more preferable prison yard to be on compared to Union Correctional Institution, which is, you know, regarded by most people as the worst place to be in Florida. How did this happen? Let's take a look real quick just to verify this for you, give you confirmation and prove it to you. I mean, I'm not just talking out of my long john butt flap here. You see it says current facility, Sewanee CI. This is a change, a major change, but current custody maximum, that matters. And we'll get into that in a second. Current release date, death sentence. So there you go. He's got the death sentence, death penalty. You need to be on death row, but he's not. Do you know why? Because Sewanee Correctional Institution, they have a work camp. They have a minimum part of the yard, which means minimum custody. This is just the best, most, I mean, you get the most opportunities. You can sometimes, you don't have a fence at that part. There's no barbed wire fence. You can leave the prison sometimes and work at outside places, like free labor. just work at local places around there or trash pickup, those types of people. You get a lot more privileges. That is a minimum camp.
For years, survivors of abuse in the LDS Church may have been told to stay quiet, but now they're speaking up and getting compensated. Some have even received up to $700,000. And the best part is, you don't need physical proof to bring a claim forward. And in most states, you can file a claim anonymously. So if this happened to you or someone you care about, click the link below. Signing up is free, it's private, and it could be the first step toward justice.
I'm almost like an old man at heart. I don't know why I've been like that since I was young. Even with producing, I still like making beats the old way. But I love when something new or some new piece of technology, some new equipment come out. Cause it's like, dang, I can use that to add to what I do, and it'll make me that much bigger or better.
I'm not saying that he gets to do that because it still says his custody is maximum. But the point is, Sewanee, you could sum it up as they got something for inmates of all custody levels. They got minimum, medium, and maximum. But what they don't have, the one thing they don't have, this is confirmed, is a death row. They do not have a death row. So there's nowhere and no reason to house someone who has the death sentence and should be on death row, like Wade Wilson, at Sewanee Correctional Institution. And in fact, to do you one further and make you a little more angry and a little more confused, if we scroll down right here, it says confinement status, not in confinement. He is not confined. He is not in any form of isolation or solitary confinement. Now, I'm not saying he's in general population. I would say that's a stretch, and according to...
So, let's get this straight. Basically, he's on death row. He eats a battery to go to a medical unit to have 24-hour care, and he feels more. I just feel basically it's like an escape or a vacation for him. That's nuts.
Pino and YouTube Streets, former inmates in Florida who I've talked to, and they know all about Sewanee and how that operates. He's likely not in general population, but he is in what you would call, I mean, the best way in layman's terms to describe it is an in-between. You're not in isolation, but you're not in the full-fledged general population. Around 100, 150 other people at a time in a big cell block, a big dorm building, if you will. He's in a subsection in between, but what that means, I mean, you read it here. He's not in confinement. He comes out of his cell at the same time that any other inmate in Gen Pop comes out of their cells, and he comes out and he mingles. Now, there's probably anywhere from 12, 15 to 20, 25 inmates in these isolated cell blocks. He gets to be around other inmates. He gets to play cards. He gets to play games. He gets to talk to them. He gets to spin his stories. He gets to make, he gets to make phone calls, probably off of their PIN number, because his, as you see here, privileges are still suspended, including visitation status. If you're not allowed visits, I can tell you, visits get suspended. That's the next step after your phone calls get suspended. So if you see right here, visitation status suspended, as we see here, I guarantee you his phone calls are suspended too. But that doesn't mean anything. That's nothing. He's able to mingle with other inmates. That's the whole thing. He's probably getting on cell phones. Now he's learned my calls get released when I make them from my own inmate PIN number phone account. He's in cell phones. He's using other inmates' PIN numbers. I mean, that's just, and that's not something only Wade does. I mean, that's just the law of the land. That is the norm in prison. I mean, if you want to make a call that you don't want to be tied back to your name and your account, you use someone, you pay them. What do you pay them? Maybe a honey bun, maybe a dinner tray, maybe a pair of socks. I don't know. Whatever it's going for in that part of the prison, whatever the scarcity and the supply and demand is, it varies. But, I guarantee you, it's nothing he can't do. So that's probably how he's communicating with people. So he's coming out and he's mingling and mixing. He's around other inmates. He's living the good life. He gets rec time. He's not isolated. His mental health isn't deteriorating anymore. He's moved up from death row. He's got a better prison experience than what he is required to have. Why? After all the trouble he's caused within prison, that is how you keep inmates from causing trouble in prison. You send them to further punishment. You don't send them to a better yard. So I don't know why they did this, and there's two reasons why they might. One is disciplinary. According to YouTube Streets and Pino, it could be disciplinary. He's because we know recent headlines. This is by the main media, credible media, who got their info straight from the prison. He has had 2 people on death row when he was on death row threaten his life. They were so fed up with him for some reason or another. They threatened his life and said the first chance they get, trust me, they will get a chance. I don't care. Even if you are on death row, they will get a chance. They're going to. And so maybe he's causing so many problems that they labeled him a disciplinary and moved him for that because they don't want to be responsible for when something inevitably happens to him. The second possibility is it is a mental health self-harm situation. Maybe he's made claims, things like that, and he's had to be moved to a different location. Honestly, I don't know how I feel or how confident I feel in either of these possibilities, because at the end of the day, you've moved him to a more favorable position when he deserves to be on death row. He is allowed to be around other inmates, and just that, the socialization, he's just on a better yard overall and all around. And I could spend hours explaining the intricacies of what it really means when you're an inmate living a minimal life and every little thing means the world to you. Every little new privilege, even if it's just a molecule better, it means the world to you. And so to be moved onto a more highly regarded as a privileged yard compared to the worst yard everyone believes that you could be on, that's a treat in itself. And there's no telling how many benefits he's receiving at this yard. So now he's mixing and mingling around other inmates. You get more freedom, you get more opportunities, you're moving around. He's networking, he's socializing, probably getting his hand on more drugs, getting his hand on cell phones, living an all-around better life. And this is such a slap in the face to the victims, if you ask me, and their families. But there is one thing, a negative, a downside, if you're Wade Wilson, not if you're us, who hates Wade Wilson, that comes with being moved to this yard, because I also have information that, just like I said, this yard is not just for privilege, not for just minimum, harmless, protective people. This yard has an area for everyone. You have some of the most dangerous people at this yard also. That means, and it is confirmed, this yard is riddled with members of the Unforgiven prison gang, which is the primary gang that was after him and wanted to harm him because he got these white supremacist tattoos on him without being ever initiated or associated with the Unforgiven prison gang. That's called false claiming. That is a major violation, and it is always looked at by everyone in prison to that gang. It is your responsibility to violently and physically handle whatever inmate.
This business AI hack feels illegal to know about. It's like Canva, ChatGPT, Google Docs, and
was falsely claiming to be a part of your gang. So they want him. The Unforgiven are on that yard. And even, I'm not going to name any names to protect my sources, but one of the leaders and most influential members of that gang and most dangerous is on that same yard right now as Wade Wilson. Aside from that, who runs the yard? My sources tell me Sex Money Murder. That is the branch of the Blood prison gang. You know, for reference, Young Thug, the rapper, that's what he's in. Many, one of the most popular, most dominant, powerful branches of the Blood Nation prison gang. There are many, but the most dominant and powerful here and in this prison system in Florida is the SMM, Sex Money Murder Blood Gang. They control that whole yard. So he's got to watch out. He's really got to watch out, because you can't go around people with a swastika under your eye and on the side of your head and think somebody ain't going to do something to you. There's a very good chance now that he's around other inmates, hey, money can get paid, bribes can be taken. Opportunities are wide open for someone. I think it's only a matter of time before we hear a headline. Something has been physically and violently done to Wade Wilson now that he's at this new place. And you know what? I don't know. Call me a conspiracy theorist. I try not to be, but maybe that's the Florida DOC's plan all along. We don't know. We'll just have to see. But at least for now, there's your update. That is breaking news. Let me know what you think about it. What are your theories? What are your comments? Let me know down below in the comment section. And hey, as soon as I hear something else, you better believe I'll be back with another video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.
Hi, I'm Dr. Christina Green, and I'm the dentist who helped Jumpsuit Pablo get his smile back. But it wasn't just about his smile. It was about getting his health, his confidence, and being able to fully live.
I'm going to do one more clip.
Oh, wait. If you were detained at any San Bernardino juvenile detention facility, such as High Desert or Gilbert Street,
this is the money glitch that's getting former detainees properly compensated. San Bernardino juvenile detention staff allegedly failed to properly protect youth from abuse, putting your safety at risk. And now a landmark lawsuit is forcing them to pay victims of sexual abuse and mistreatment. This isn't just talk. Under California law, over 600 former detainees have already filed lawsuits against state agencies. ABC News, Fox, CBS, and Associated Press are covering this.
City of Fort Myers.
Just over 15 years.
Back in October of 2019, were you a police officer at that time?
Yes, I was.
And how long had you been working as a police officer at that time?
Just under 13 years, I believe.
And what were you doing? What were your duties and roles as the police officer back in 2019?
At that time, I was a senior patrol officer, and I was on alpha shift and assigned to patrol.
Right. What's a senior patrol officer do, sir?
Basically, we respond to calls for service, assist the public in any way, shape, or form, and protect and serve the city of Fort Myers.
When you say alpha shift, what do you mean?
That's the assigned shift. Shifts are broken into 12-hour periods, and I was on the alpha shift from 5 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Now, specifically directing your attention to the 7th of October of 2019. Were you working on that day?
Yes, I was.
Did you have occasion to become involved in an investigation involving a battery that occurred at a spa known as Mila's Spa, involving a young lady by the name of Melissa Montanez?
Yes, I did.
And what was the extent of your involvement in that particular case?
I was called to the scene of a reported battery on West First Street in front of the Mila Spa. Upon arrival with other officers, we made contact with the victim.
And was the investigation ultimately turned over to an officer to conduct that?
That's correct.
Okay. And what did you do in response to turning that investigation over to that officer?
I turned the investigation over to the officer, and I patrolled the area to see if the identified subject would possibly still be in the area.
And were you able to locate him?
Not at the initial time, no.
At what time were you able to locate him?
I was contacted by an acquaintance and said that.
Objection, hearsay.
Sustained.
Did you receive information with regards to the whereabouts of a individual who later became known to you as Mr. Wade Wilson?
Yes, I did.
And when you received that information, what did you do in response?
I responded to the area and looked for the described vehicle and the person that I had identified as Wade Wilson by his driver's license photo and the photo in the LCSO records.
And when you say you went to a specific location, which location was that?
It was Joe's Crab Shack on West First Street.
And when you made contact with that individual at Joe's Crab Shack, were you also wearing a body cam?
Yes, I was.
What exactly is a body cam?
A body worn camera is a camera that all police officers issue, and the standard policy at Fort Myers Police Department, as most police departments, is that as soon as you as soon as you get the call, you activate your body camera. Also in our cars, we have an automatic system where if you turn on the overhead lights, it automatically starts your body camera.
And were you wearing a body camera on that particular date and time?
Yes, I was.
Judge, let the record reflect on the defense counsel's previously marked states number 34 and 35.
I said 34 and 35?
Yes, Your Honor. Approach.
You may.
Department, I'm showing you some previously marked states number 34. I ask you to take a look at that item. Do you recognize that?
Yes, I do.
And what does that appear to be?
That appears to be the
When lawlessness tips the scales, justice comes in waves.
Look at Wade Wilson look crazy, bro. All right, let's see. Let's get to this part.
My word. No. All right. What's that? Like 5, I'm at Joe's Crab Shack in the parking lot. I will. I give you my word. No. I have to detain you. By our procedures, I have to detain you. Because of the battery this morning. There wasn't any battery? I will. No. Just relax. Let me see the keys to the car. Let me see the keys to the car. Keys. Wait, we're not going to have any problems. Just give me the keys to the car. Wait. Just wait till my partner gets here. Now, 4-1, gonna need a couple more units. Don't go anywhere. Hey.
He's out of there. Bro, he's out of there, bro. What? Oh, shit.
Don't do it. He's in his car, attempting to take off. Back up. Yes, please. He's taking off, Fort Myers. Just ran a stop sign going up towards McGregor.
Mr. McCormick, when you made contact with Mr. Wilson, did he appear to understand everything that you were telling him?
Yes.
And was he responding in kind to you?
He was basically denying everything that I was asking him to do.
When you're having a conversation with him, you're giving him certain commands and you're asking questions of him. Is that correct?
That's correct.
And was he responding appropriately? By appropriately, I mean, if one asks you if you had breakfast this morning and one would respond, yes, I had cereal, that would be an example of appropriate response. Was he responding to you appropriately?
Not complying to my commands, but yes, he was responding appropriately.
And when you told him specifically about a battery that occurred that morning, what was his response to you?
That there was no battery.
Okay. And he continues to deny that.
That's correct.
And when you advised him that you were going to detain him, he opted to leave the scene as an alternative choice to what you were telling. Is that right?
Ultimately, yes, that was the outcome.
Is there anything else in that video that we were not able to understand that you recall specifically that Mr. Wilson had told you?
Not that I recall.
Did you follow or did you continue to follow him?
I did for a short period of time.
Okay. Why did you stop?
Because of the time of day and the amount of traffic on the road. It was around lunchtime. It's somewhere there near lunchtime, and the amount of people on the road. At the time, I only had a non-pursuitable offense.
What does that mean?
That I only had misdemeanor battery at the time.
Yes, sir.
So therefore, there was no probable cause to continue any type of pursuit or have any other officers try to locate him at the time because of the nature of the offense we were dealing with.
And would that have been the protocol of your office?
Yes, that is.
Okay. Fair enough.
Life and safety of the community comes first.
Thank you. No further questions for this registration.
Any questions?
No cross.
All right. You can step down.
Thank you, sir.
Judge, can we approach?
Okay.
All right. That's gonna be it, man. Wade is one crazy SOB. Hope everybody stays far, far away from him. Yeah, man, that's gonna be it for this one, bro. We'll be back at you in a little bit. We gone.